Imagine, like, finding a crisp $100 bill in a completely empty parking lot. It is late, nobody is around, and there are, absolutely zero cameras. What you do in those next 5 seconds doesn't just dictate your morals.
Right. It actually...
Yeah, according to today's source material, it literally rewires your psychological operating system.
Yeah.
So welcome to our deep dive on this fascinating article titled The Bedrock of Being.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a great read because it just completely dismantles that movie version of integrity. Like, we usually picture this grand climax with a whistleblower holding a box of secret files under blinding interrogation lights.
Right, exactly. Like the big hero moment.
Exactly. But the text argues that real integrity is an entirely private practice. It's laid brick by brick in these completely mundane moments when the cameras are off.
Yeah, and our mission today is to really unpack how those tiny, invisible acts are the actual blueprint for unshakable internal peace. So I guess let's start with the cost of getting it wrong. I mean, if we aren't facing giant, dramatic moral dilemmas every day, what is the actual damage of a tiny white lie or, cutting a minor corner at work?
Well, it seems harmless on the surface, right? But the author explains it causes this hidden psychological fracture.
Right, fracture.
Yeah. Psychologists call it cognitive dissonance. And that's not just a buzzword. It's the very real physical stress of holding contradictory beliefs or acting in a way that betrays your own core values. So every little deception creates friction.
Wow, that makes sense.
But on the flip side, small acts of truth create what they call congruence, which heals those fractures and just ends the internal war.
That really reminds me of leaving too many background apps open on your phone. Like you aren't actively using them, you can't even see them on the screen, but they constantly running in the background and just secretly draining your battery to zero.
Oh, that is a spot-on way to visualize the text concept of emotional bookkeeping.
Emotional bookkeeping, right?
Yeah, because deception demands just an enormous amount of mental energy. Even for, say, a minor white lie you told just to avoid awkwardness. Your brain has to remember the alternate story, which mask you're wearing, who you told what to.
Right, it's totally exhausting.
It really is. Integrity strips all that away. If your baseline is always the truth, you don't need a strategy. You don't need a perfect memory. That consistency creates massive operating space in your mind.
So if clearing out that exhausting mental math stops you from constantly worrying about your external reputation, what fills the void? The text points to something called the internal witness, which is like a part of you that records every single choice. So when you return extra change to a cashier, you earn its respect.
Exactly. You're building trust with yourself.
But wait, let me push back on that for a second. Is this internal witness really going to care if I don't know, pocket an extra nickel from a multi-billion-dollar supermarket? Like, how does something that tiny actually armor you against a real-world crisis?
So it matters because of what the Stoics called the Stoic fortress. They viewed things like money or health or fame as preferred indifference.
Preferred indifference.
Right, meaning, sure, they are nice to have, but because you can't control if you lose your job or get canceled online tomorrow, basing your peace on them is just an incredibly fragile strategy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So character is your only unconfiscatable asset.
Unconfiscatable. I like that. So by choosing what is right over what is easy in the tiny matters, you aren't just being nice. You're laying rebar into your psychological foundation so you don't crack when a real crisis puts weight on it.
Precisely. When the modern chaos brings a massive, unexpected crisis right to your doorstep, you do not have time to scramble for strength.
Right. You can't just build the fortress right then.
Exactly. It has to already be there, baked into the bedrock of your habits.
And because character is the only thing that survives that chaos, it becomes our ultimate enduring asset. It completely outlasts this treadmill and all those digital metrics we spend so much time chasing.
It really does. A person of integrity radiates a quiet power because they are grounded in a reality that's just much deeper than external validation. And to actually feel this shift, the article suggests doing the smallest truth exercise.
Oh, I love this part. It challenges you to find one invisible moment today to do the right thing. So it could be keeping a promise to yourself that no one else knew you made, or refusing to accept a good enough standard on a project.
Or even just correcting a minor misunderstanding that favored you.
Right.
And the key is to notice your physical reaction right after you do it.
Yeah.
You will feel this subtle settling in your chest.
Yeah, like a physical release.
Exactly. That quiet sigh of the spirit is the literal feeling of congruence. It's the sound of a foundation being laid.
It really shows that peace isn't found in optics or, playing to the crowd. It is found in the quiet alignment of your internal and external worlds.
And that alignment is the true end of the internal war.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to wrap things up, put yourself in that situation. Think about this. If your internal witness sat down and reviewed the unedited movie tape of your actions from just yesterday, what invisible compromise would you change? And how would rewriting that one tiny scene shift your mental operating space right now?